What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good evening.
Good
Hello.
evening.
Happy
Hello.
Wednesday. What's up, Sophia?
Hi.
Sophia in the house. We got Eric in the house. Welcome, y'all. We are excited to have everybody. All right. Well, let's get this thing kicked right off. So, first thing I want to do is talk directly to this incredible audience, which is watching right now. If you're jumping in here today, we're going to talk a lot about real estate. We're going to talk about data, information, and cost. We're going to talk about the average family and how they're making it work right now. Because here's what we know: most people aren't, and you can tell that by the numbers, right? Houses are not selling anywhere near the pace that they have been over the past 3 years for lots of obvious reasons. But we're going to get into why. Okay. We're going to talk about real estate numbers, but we're going to talk more about the economy as a whole and about how much money you're making and why these two things are not in alignment. And I know this is not a news flash to anyone in this space, anyone that's watching right now. Trust me, I am aware. I see the Costco bill. I see the Target bill. I know what things cost. I know how much it costs to fill the truck. I got all those things in front of us, but we want to make a promise today that we're going to deliver this information to you guys. So that's what you can expect during this episode. So pretty excited. I know Eric's got a ton prepared for you guys today. So with that, let's get this kicked right off. I am joined by my awesome co-host and co-team lead here with the True Living Group, Mr. Eric Meldrum. Good evening, Eric.
What up, everybody?
What is happening, Eric? And we are joined by our lovely and talented, the one, the only Miss Sophia Cruz, who is a member of our team. Good evening, Sophia.
Hey, Juan. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Always dressed to the nines. I appreciate that. I managed to put my flip-flops on once today, so you got that going for you. A little bit of a difference here, right? But
just make sure you got pants on today.
I do wear pants frequently, so you guys don't have to worry about that. This isn't like the evening news. I'm not Ron Burgundy, so you should be pretty good about that. Teleprompters are dangerous in front of me, though, just in case anybody was wondering. And if you don't know that reference, go learn about it because it is definitely worth it. But let's get into this stuff. Eric, I know you were doing some homework today. I know that whenever I had it as a child, whenever I was a student and I actually did my homework, I was so proud of myself and I wanted to share it.
It's a good
So
feeling. Yeah.
you most likely want to share yours too. So I would love to hear this topic. Great thumbnail, great topic tonight. Let's get into the nitty gritty here. Tell me what's going on.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think everybody's feeling it. Like you said, the main thing that a lot of Americans, who are looking at making a move, right? Maybe moving to a new state. They're looking at cost of living where they're at, saying, is there somewhere cheaper? Things that are just getting more expensive, right? We see this in, like you said, the Costco bill, Target bill, but it's all over the place, right? It's at the gas station, at the pump, right? It's in the everyday items, right? That we just sent our kids back to school, and all the school supplies. I feel like this year we spent like 4 times what we normally do, on pencils, glue, paper, all the essentials, right? Whole different topic of why we're buying all these things for the school system anyways, but nonetheless, here we are. And the reality is that everybody's feeling it. Right. So I wanted to take a look at some national averages and some local averages. We got a lot of people who are tuning in that are considering making a move to Michigan. So when you're moving to a new state, you have questions like, what does it cost to live there? Right? Is it less expensive or more expensive than where I'm currently at? So we want to shed some light on this. But the thing I want you to take away, from the data we're going to share is that the data that we're looking at from a national and local averages, these numbers have not been reported yet. Right? The current numbers in 2023 of what we're currently experiencing has not been reported. It has not hit the charts. Right? It's not baked into the averages yet. We're living this real time. Okay. So, this is one big thing because I had the question last week from somebody who's looking at moving here, and they started quoting some costs that they found online. I'm like, I don't pay anywhere close to that. Right. And I'm just using my own personal finances as a reference. I'm like,
Yep.
I don't pay anywhere close to that for that. That's high or that's low. And it just sparked this thing of like, what people are looking at is totally off base. Right. So I did the research, right, which I want to take to you guys today. Let me fire this up and share the screen. All right.
Oh, who's excited for budget? I know I am.
Yeah. It's funny because, you know, my wife and I play this little game every single month, and the game is I'm going to make a spreadsheet with all the expenses, you know, for everything. I'm going to go present it and say, "Hey, this is what we spent last month. Where do we think we can shed some some dollars?" And the answer is no, 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 no. Does this sound familiar to anybody?
Yeah,
What a fun game.
Yeah, fun game. And the end of the game, we say, okay, well, we'll try again next month. And for some reason, the next month we spent even more, which is mind-boggling to me. But anyways, I digress. So, you know, I'm going through this, and I want to take you guys through the spreadsheet. You know, I know some people get spreadsheets and like, you know, can't even think straight. But this is pretty simple. You know, we have the national average here for income, the national household income. This is not a single earner or family. This is a household family of four, which would be kind of the average that we're looking at. So total income for the called the nuclear family of four is 71,000. Now take the average 25% tax bracket. You know, for that, they're going to take home right around 53K. Okay. Does this sound familiar to anybody? All right. Taxes suck. Right. I get it. So
that's only the first time you get taxed. But anyways,
yeah,
I digress. Keep going.
That's the first time. We're gonna get into all that because this is where the pocketbook starts to get hit. Keep this number in the back of your head. You know, we're not going to look at this right now. The currently 2023, the national average for the cost of a home is 416,000. All right. So keep that number. Now,
hey, Eric, before you get too deep in the weeds, y'all, if you're watching this right now or later, let us know if Eric is on track, right? If he's too high, on track, or too low compared to your budget. We would love to know in the comments. Please, please, please share. That's going to help other people who are watching this get perspective as well. Go ahead, Eric.
Yep, absolutely. So, you know, we look at the national average, and this is coming from multiple different sources. Okay. So triangulating this, and what they're saying is the average cost of real estate. So this is renting or owning a home is right around $2,000 a month for your household.
Mm-hmm.
Now, transportation is right around $400. Now, I know you can see the numbers to the right, right? Is anybody paying, you know, two cars? You know, if you're a household of four and you have two cars, is anybody paying $400 a month?
Oh, dear Lord. For what? To rent them to space in my driveway? That's about it.
Yeah, for a lease, for
insurance cost.
Yeah. So anyways, here we are, right? Let's just keep going through these. $400 a month for transportation. Gas is another $200 a month. Insurance is $175. They have food pegged at $750. You know, utilities pegged at $300 a month, and then you have some miscellaneous costs in here: clothing, $150 a month; health insurance, $600 a month; internet, phone, $150. Now, that comes to, and you notice I have a column here or a line here that is not filled out. All right. Most households have some sort of debt. They're going to have student debt, credit card debt, whatever the case may be. All right. So I'm not putting this in here for a reason. I want to look at this objectively. All right. So these monthly expenses total just shy of $5,000 a month. Okay. You annualize that out, and we're paying $56,000 a year just to live in our house, drive our cars, get to and fro, and your food, your clothing, all that stuff. All right, 56K. Now let's go back up top, because I don't think that's even making, yeah. So we're taking home 53,000 and we're shelling out 56,000. So something's not adding up there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Just as it stands today with those expenses and the current household income, you're seeing some deficits. Right. You're starting to see the deficit. So I thought this was really interesting as I was going through this, you know, and I want to get your guys' perspective on this, because, you know, we have a family in Florida. We have another, you know, single individual, right, has other, you know, things that in her life that you're paying for, Sophia, right? So some of these might be more expensive, might be less, depending on lifestyle, right? And that's the interesting part about this. Other people value things differently. So I started putting in some of my personal finances, in this, and started taking a look at this and saying like, okay, well, what are we actually paying? So when we look at Michigan, for example, the average income for a household is 64,500. After taxes, that's 48K. All right. Average cost of a home here in Michigan is supposedly $233,000. Now, guys, remember, Michigan's a big state. So there's some less expensive homes up in the UP. There's some less expensive homes in areas that aren't as populated, right? So we're pulling all that information in, and I'll give the benefit of doubt. I know every state is like that, but there's a large majority of homes that are sold in certain parts of Metro Detroit that are creeping that number up. And remember, these are lagging numbers. So it's increased month over month, every single month coming into 2023. And I suspect that, average to keep going up here in Michigan as more homes sell. So the interesting part about this, is let's just say that the real estate is kind of right on par, right? If you take $233,000 house, average payment at current interest rates, and I fast forwarded to 2023, average payment at current interest rates is going to be $1,900. Okay, so that's on par with the average, right? $2,000 a month. You're saving $100 there.
Is that including taxes and insurance, or are you just principal and interest? Just so everybody knows.
Taxes and insurance as well.
Okay, so this is a rough estimate of a $233,000 property.
Yep. So looking at transportation, we own 2 vehicles, and we've owned those for a couple years. Both vehicles are costing us $950 a month.
The payments, or payment and insurance?
Payments, just payments. Now gas, we do a ton of driving because we sell real estate, so
Yep.
we're back and forth. So this might be high for some people. $300 a month. Insurance, $175. And food, we got savages, right? Like these girls can eat. So we're probably on par. Like I did a couple months, averages here. It's probably right around $2,000 a month, in food. I would say that's probably a low month. Okay. Probably a low month. This does not include eating out too. Let me make that clear. This does not include eating out.
Yep.
Okay. That is just grocery stores. Okay. Costco, Kroger, Bush's, right? 2,000. Utilities on average, winters and summers are going to blend in together, $200 a month. These I had to kind of dig a little bit deeper into the finances. Think we're probably somewhere around $150 a month on average for clothing. The girls are growing like weeds right now. It's probably more. We're buying clothes every single year for them. Health insurance, $750. Internet and phone, $220. Okay.
Hold on. Your utility bill is only $200 for, let me get this straight: gas, electric, water, sewer.
Yeah, we don't have water or sewer. Water,
you're well and septic. Okay. So Eric is not the average. I want everybody to wrap your mind around that. Most people don't live on a well. You live in Metro and Detroit, you're going to have water and sewage. Sophia, what are you paying for your water and sewer on average?
My last water bill was $220.
And that was water and sewer 1 month or 2?
Water and sewer 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah, 3 months.
Okay. And how many are in your household?
2.
Okay, so multiply that by 2. Let's just raise it a third for the sake of conversation. We'll add another $100 to it. So $100 a month is what you're paying for water and sewer alone, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so Eric, that'd be $300. We're trying to give you guys perspective. Most people aren't going to live on well and septic. If you get it, great. Your taxes are going to be lower. That's why.
Yeah, my DTE bill alone, I mean, can range anywhere from $180 to $230, depending on. Yeah.
I laugh. That's why I'm laughing at this, y'all. Like if I
Right. And well, this is why we're talking about it,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
these are all the variables that take place. And when people start looking at these numbers from a national average perspective and even local averages, like I laugh at them.
Oh,
I'm laughing at it like
yeah.
there's no scenario where this even comes close.
No, I
Right.
don't know how people are doing it, brother. I did, I made this video already and I got roasted. It is split right down the middle. People think that I'm insane, and the other people are like, "Yep, that's right." Or there are some people who are like, "No, it's more than that where I live," right? And we use these averages, and I'm bringing this up because Eric's talking about this. Like, I have all of this data, and I'm gonna put a link so everybody can see this in the chat right now from bankrate.com, and this is regarding automotive payments. Okay, so this article was published in April. Eric, if you want to share it, you can grab it and share it. Feel free. But I just want to cover some quick numbers because some of you heard what Eric said and you're like, "That's insane. Why would you ever pay that much?" And others of you are laughing because one car costs that much. This is the reality that you guys need to wrap your mind around. And this is not us blowing smoke. I'm going to read to you that the car payment statistics that came from Q4 of 2023. Let me make sure I got it right. He can pull it up. On average, drivers are spending over $700 and $500 each month for new and used vehicles, respectively. $700 a month for new vehicles. We're talking about one car payment. All right. Automotive financing report. Insurance costs on average are $2,000 a year. That is probably right. When we canceled our Michigan insurance last year, officially, because we've been riding Michigan insurance, it was $2,495 a year for two vehicles. One was paid off, one was a lease. But I want to read these statistics to you guys really quick. Eric, if you can pull it up, great. If not, that's okay too. The average.
Shoot me the link.
Oh, I put it in the chat. My bad.
Got it.
My bad. I'll wait for him to pull this up and we'll get it started here. But I want to touch on this point specifically as we go through these numbers here. So these are from bankrate.com. They're actually looking at people's financial loans, the automotive loans. This is mind blowing when you hear these statistics, y'all. I'm telling you right now. So car payment statistics, and these came from the fourth quarter of 2022. So this is the very end. I don't have new data because they haven't published it yet. But here's where car payments ended last year. The average monthly car payment for a new car is $716 a month. If this is from the end of Q4, does anybody think that's more this year? With interest rates being higher?
Oh.
I already know the answer to that. $716 for a new car. The average monthly payment for a used car is $526. So the fact that people are saying it's only $500 on average, that's insane. 39.5% of vehicles financed in the fourth quarter of 2022 were new vehicles. 60.5% of the vehicles financed in quarter four were used vehicles. So there's been a shift. People are trying to buy something more affordable, but something to take note of there, right? And then, where was it? Of consumer purchasing new vehicles in 2022, 80.9% of them chose to finance versus 85% in 2021. So it's about a 5% shift away from cash into more financing. Credit union financing made up 30% of auto loans. There you go. You come down. That's it right there, Eric. The average car insurance payment is about $160 per month. That's probably per vehicle, by the way. Just a heads up on that. New loan amounts are up 4% in the fourth quarter. SUVs and wagons increased the financing shares to 6%. Overall loan balances grew by 8% as well. So I'm bringing this up because this number here, when Eric reads his numbers, as you can see, he's below the average just on the auto payment alone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That doesn't include insurance, fuel, those types of things. Right. So the cost of owning a vehicle now has exponentially grown, and it gets into the loan amount, the loan durations in there too, Eric. As you go down, the average loan term is now 69.44 months. As you scroll down, it'll take you down there. How much will the car payment be?
That's crazy. It's a 5-year note.
Right. And it shows you over time on this chart. This is a great chart for anybody trying to wrap their mind around it. I love Bankrate. It's a great website. It'll also take you to the best car car loan offers out there right now too, which is great. If you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see that, Eric. It's unbelievable. And then it breaks down even into credit as you go down into here, who's buying these cars. So you can see the credit scores and where they're landing. It's a really good website.
Yeah, this is fantastic. All right. So just puts it into perspective, just another data point to say, like, okay, some of the numbers we're putting as are conservative, right? No, we bought our cars a couple of years ago, right? So yeah, this is, if anybody's renewing a lease, like, this is the reality. Like, these things are going to get more expensive.
Yep.
All right, well, let's go back to this. Let's keep chugging along on this. So I think some of these are a little bit light, right? But here's the interesting part. The income, 64K, in Michigan, average income. And all of this that we just went through totals up to just shy of 7K a month. Okay? Coming annually to $80,000 a year. Okay, going back up, right? So after taxes, 48K for a household, and we're spending 80K. Almost double what we're making.
Yep. And we can see that in people's credit cards because that's
what I was going to say. That's
ballooned,
where
right?
You can feel the debt line with that.
Yep. The new stat that is coming out every single month right now is Americans are borrowing more money than they ever have before. And it's all coming from our credit cards.
It's all coming from the credit cards. All right. And this just goes to show you, like, these are the numbers, right? Like, I'm being conservative with this. This is the number. So I went a step further. I wanted to kind of take a look at this and say, like, okay, well, like, 80K is just the tipping point of this, right? That's paycheck to paycheck. All right. That's not including any investment, savings, right? Everybody's going on vacation. I mean, we were down in Florida. I saw tons of people. We were up north, tons of people. Nobody's stopping going on vacation. Nobody's stopping the spending, right? So what does this actually look like? Right. So if we just annualize this out and say, okay, we'll take the 80K and we need to build in taxes, right? So if we're to make 80K and spend 80K and we want to break even, we would need to make just over $100,000 annually. Okay. This is, again, paycheck to paycheck. Right. So forget the national average, right? This is probably more in line with where households actually are, for a lot of them, 100K. Okay. So we have that. And then next, let's take a look at if you want a little bit of savings, right? If everybody says, 10% is what you should be saving every single month. Well, you need 111K, annually. And if you want to invest 15,000 or 15% of your income, you would need to be grossing 127K. All right. This is just the reality. Now, I did another example, right? Leaving everything else the same. Okay. And this is if a family decides we need a bigger house, right? And we need to go buy another house because this $1,900, is just the average for Michigan, $233,000. The reality of that is those homes are going like hotcakes, right? Those homes are probably going $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over asking. But more importantly, they are a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. Okay. It's not the starter family home like it used to be.
Yep.
Most people are buying 3 bedrooms, 2,200 square feet, not the small ranches. Right. We're upgrading into 2 stories, right? Over 2,000 square feet. And these homes are now costing on average $400K.
Yep.
So if somebody's making that lateral move that says, hey, we just need a little bit more space, right? You're getting out of your current mortgage and you're going to get into a $400,000 mortgage conservatively, that's going to cost you right around $3,300 a month for that mortgage. All right. And if everything else is equal, fast forward all these numbers, you need to be making over $150,000 a year, right? To live the lifestyle, drive the cars, and go on vacations and put a little bit of money away. All right. So I went through this, like just still racking my brain because this is reality, right? Like that monthly game that my wife and I play of like, what are we going to cut this month? All right. What are we going to do next month? Listen, we're not hurting. I'm not here to say like this is a dire need for some families versus others, but this is reality. There's things that need to be addressed, and buying a new house just, is not in the cards for some people because of the interest rate, and I wish it was because, a lot of these other things aren't going away, right? Inflation is here to stay. So the question is what are we going to do about it? Like as an economy, what's going to happen? What do we think is going to shake loose? These numbers crazy. Sophia, I mean, you're looking at these like these are ringing true, right?
Mine are higher. No. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, like I said, some of the costs are actually higher than that. I don't know how some of us are doing it, to be honest. And then I actually need to buy a new car. So anytime Juan brings up the car prices and interest rates right now, like my ears perk because I'm getting to the point where I have to buy a car probably this year. So I'm just like everyone else out there. I'm like, oh my God, do I buy now? Do I wait? Is it going to get better? Is it not going to get better? But when it boils down to it, like I know I'm going to need a car by the end of this year. So I'm going to have to do the research and make a decision.
Yeah, man. That is definitely a scary proposition. We're going through the same thing right now. Like listen, yeah, like Eric said, we're not hurting, and I can share these numbers out loud with you guys. We're buying our house right now. My mortgage is 7.10%. We're going FHA because it's a better deal than going conventional. We're going to save money in that respect. And it just makes more sense for us. So, but these are not inexpensive numbers. I mean, y'all, between our taxes and our insurance, we're $1,000 a month. It's more than the last rent that I paid when I left Michigan. It's like mind blowing.
$2,000 a month is, like kind of a dumpy apartment nowadays.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy. So here's the thing, like, and Eric, I think you made a really good point, and y'all, like, I know you're watching this and like, this isn't news to anybody, right? So like, I want to make sure that we're sharing that objectively, right? I know this. According to the statistics that just came out from, I laugh because it's from the bean counters. The bean counters and the government finally figured out that you and I are spending way more money every month. Go ahead, I'll wait. Everybody's shocked, right? Like the bean counters and the government just figured this out. But I want to show you this. Inflation forces U.S. families to spend $709 more a month than 2 years ago. Now, this article just came out August 11th. I pulled this aside. I want to share this with you guys in real time because we know this is true. We started the whole conversation regarding what it costs to go to Costco, Target, your grocery store, the gasoline. This stuff is real life. And we're sharing this with y'all because we want to help give perspective and then talk about where this is going to go. The thing I don't want to get stuck here, Eric, like any moron can identify issues, right? Coming up with solutions is the focus. And that's what Eric's intent is behind this, is just calling this out, right? Looking for the opportunity when there is one, because right now it's just look, it feels terrible. It looks terrible. If it smells like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Right. And they can run around saying that our economy is strong, but you and I aren't feeling it that way. Right. So the typical American household spends $709 more in July than they did 2 years ago. All right. So this gets better, this article. Even though prices have soared, real earnings, which adjusted for inflation, so that means how your money spends. I want to break this down to the simplest terms. Real wages are how much you and I are actually making at our jobs or in our businesses. That's how much we're actually making versus inflation. Okay. But real earnings, which adjust for inflation, are stuck in 2019 levels. So this article begins with, we're spending $709 more than we did 2 Julys ago. Right. And then it proceeds to let us know that our money is only spending as good as it did in 2019. That's where our money, the rest of the world kept going. You and I kept living our lives for the last 4 years, but our money parked itself in 2019, was like, hey, this is as far as we're going to spend. Yeah. I'm glad that they finally figured this out. We all know this, right? If you can feel this, make sure you put this in the comments. Let us know, right? Because I know this is real. This is as real as it gets, y'all. So I wanted to share that article with you because it's you got to wrap your mind around where things are. So here's what I would like to do with this conversation, Eric. We can definitely get into some real estate numbers, but here's what we have to get to this. If you cannot fix your current situation, the thing I'm about to say, I understand some people are going to push back against what I'm about to say. Others of you already know this and you've taken this in your own hands. Either way, the results are going to be the same. So it doesn't matter whether you agree with me or not, but we've got to take a step back and look at how to solve this. If you're working in a job that refuses to give you wage increases that you need in order to not just survive, but to thrive in your lifestyle, it is time to start looking for different opportunities. And if you do not have opportunities, it's time to grow your skills. I realize this is strong language, but this is the only way it gets fixed. No one is going to swoop in and save you and me. They're not going to come in and save us. They're not sending checks to our house right now. They're not going to send checks to our house right now. The only people who can take care of this problem is ourselves. And trust me, I know what this is like. I used to work a job and then drive a pizza delivery van or a truck when I needed to do that. I've worked a job and worked a bar at night. This is not fun, and it's not what you want to do. And some of you are single moms. You're trying to figure this out. I get it. Right? I get it. But they're not coming to save us. You've got to take this in your own hands. Start a side hustle. If you own one of these now, you have the ability to start selling things online, get in front of people. I'm sharing this with you because I'm looking at this going, employers are not going to be your savior, this is a whole nother argument. And I can complain about it and hope that it's going to change, or I can take this into my own hands. And y'all, I'm just sharing that I'm passionate about this because the writing is on the wall, right? Every single year, the haves and the have-nots grow more and more. And we get to either argue for our limitations or we get to remove them. And if you want out of this, if you're looking at this right now and going, who can afford a $400,000 house? Y'all, we sell them every day. We sell them every day. Yes, there's a lot fewer people buying them, but guess what? They're still buying them to the tune of prices are still increases. That's not speculation. That's real life. There are people out here who make this money. There are people out here who have these opportunities. It is up to us to make our own way. Stop. I know that this isn't necessarily what people want to hear. And I empathize. I grew up on Focus Hope, government cheese, where we used to cut the block off because it was moldy. I know what this life looks like. My mother cut milk and water so we could survive. I get it. But you know what I had to do? I had to decide I was not going to stay there. And trust me, this is money comes, money goes. It's a resource. It gives you options. It's not a thing. Trust me, I am not money motivated. But I tell you what I am motivated by: having options and not having to eat government cheese. Right? And I mean, it costs $900 to put a car in a park. If you have 2 car payments and insurance, you are paying $1,000 before you ever turn the key. Well, you don't turn them anymore. Before you ever press the button on the car. Y'all, we're not going back. For everyone waiting for prices to go back, and forget about housing. Let's talk about everything else. Have you ever in your lifetime ever seen a phase where it costs less money to go to the barber? Where it costs less money to go to the salon? Go ahead, I'll wait. Sophia?
No.
The prices are not going to go down when inflation comes down, and it will. And the Federal Reserve already said his stated goal is 2% inflation, not deflation of our dollar. They're not trying to reduce prices. They're just trying to slow down the increase. It's called disinflation, not deflation. There's a huge difference between the two. They're telling you that their goal is to keep the money moving upwards. And I'm passionate about this because I lived a life growing up where we were taught that the only way you could get ahead is the only way someone got ahead is if they took something from somebody else. And that is not true. Wealth is created. I am not a wealthy man. I'm not sitting here telling you this, but y'all, you cannot wait. You can't wait for somebody else to solve these problems for us. We've got to take this in our own hands. Right? So I know I'm passionate. Forgive me. Just turned a bunch of people off. But I know the alternative. The alternative is broke, hand to mouth. That life sucks. You don't have to stay there. United States is dope. You can do a lot of things. Michigan, you can run wild. You can literally be the dope man legally now. When I was a kid, Pookie and the boys drove the nice cars. But guess what? Those guys were trouble. You weren't allowed to talk to them. You weren't allowed to hang around with them. My mom would beat my behind if she knew I was hanging out with Pookie and the boys. Y'all are laughing because you know this is true. Right?
You said dope, and I took it like dope.
Hanging out down on Finkel, right? 8 Mile. Like, we were not allowed to go down there because that's where Pookie and the boys hung out. Right? And now Pookie and the boys got a green light. There are billboards all the way up 275, all the way up 23, all the way down 94 for the dope man. They are celebrated. And I'm not encouraging that as a thing. I'm not mad at you if you do that. That is not the business that I would go down. But the point is, it's legal. There are so many different ways, y'all, to sit here and only call out the bad and not do anything for ourselves. So that's like the dog that's laying on the nail on a deck. Doesn't make any sense. We've got to make some moves. Right? Real estate, historically speaking, has been a hedge against inflation. People with money who don't like seeing their money eroded, inflation's a hidden tax. It's insidious, and it disproportionately affects the middle class and poor. Right? I'm middle class. Trust me, that's $709. That's a joke. That number is not correct. Eric, do you believe that number is right?
Listen, yeah, that number's not correct, and this is what we're seeing. For anybody who's watching, the headlines, hearing what's going on, with campaigning, elections. I don't want to get, down a rabbit hole on politics here, but there's this big divide, right? And it's very evident. Even some of the best economic experts are saying, look, there's going to be no middle class, right? You're either poor or you're well off, right? And this shows it. Like, we're at that pivotal point right now. What Juan's saying is, go out and start looking at these different revenue streams, right? No longer can you just work a 9 to 5 and get by, right? It's not going to work, right? There needs to be a different foundation, right, within the household income to start providing. So people with high skills, we have a whole new, breed of entrepreneurs with ChatGPT 4, right? Building technology, right? Leveraging that in marketing agencies, and we're seeing it in real estate, and people are coming out with new ways to sell courses, digital information. You constantly see this going, and trust me, there's no shortage of people with these skills to go out and make a living for themselves. Right. We're getting reach outs every single day. People moving here to Michigan. A lot of these people are watching right now, so, this is highlighting a bigger issue, with the housing market in general, which is, it might stay this way. Right. So, I've always taken the mindset of, I don't need to look at the expenses. Right. That little game that we play every single month, it's fun, but I don't enjoy it every single month. What do? We just go make more income, right? Make more income. That solves problems.
Yep.
All right. I'm not saying be stupid with your money, right? That's crazy, right? Don't be stupid with it. Make sure you have those things on budgets, but the reality is, you need to up your income. I'm not a huge Dave Ramsey fan. This is not a whole segment about Dave Ramsey, but he wants you to go pay cash for everything. This is not working. Right? There's vehicles in real estate that allow you to leverage debt to build passive income. All right. And this is what we're seeing. One of my good friends, client, who just reached out to me today and said, hey, looking at investing in real estate, we have a syndication that we want to start. We need to start looking at multifamily, single family, commercial, and start building this portfolio. Right. And these are the vehicles, in addition to some other, things in crypto space. There's going to be a whole shakeup of crypto that's going to make a comeback here shortly. I don't want to get too down the rabbit hole, but real estate as an asset class is performing. We're going to see a lot of commercial real estate spaces come vacant, and those are going to be a big question mark, in terms of what happens to them. So we're already starting to see some plans from developers that are going to redo some of this industrial, mixed use space. Right? A lot of these big warehouses that are 30, 40, 50,000 square feet that are going to get chopped up into smaller industrial mixed use spaces, because the guys who own the plumbing business, the guys who own a power washing business, the guys who own, some sort of side hustle or some sort of full income business that, they started out of their garage, are now going to move up into that space. And those industrial flex use spaces are going to start becoming more and more popular.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We're already starting to see a lot more of that. So those type of things aren't going away. And I think it's super interesting as we look at the landscape ahead, to start looking at other ways to leverage. Right. But you got to free up that disposable income to go start actually investing.
Yep.
Right. Most people I'm talking to have a ton of equity in their house, and they're already looking at using the equity to go start investing in more real estate, because that is going to be performing. All right. So it just goes to show you, there's no right or wrong way. Right. But this is the reality that we're in. And yes, to some people, those numbers are shocking that we shared. I wouldn't say we live in a lavish lifestyle by any means, but those numbers are real. Right. When we go to renew the lease, I'm like, same boat as you. Like, it's going to be, a hard pill to swallow to see that payment go from where it is today to increase probably a couple $100, right? If not double what we're paying.
Yep. Maybe just, sharing this information, for large insurance companies. I want to share this, this kind of stuff, y'all. And this is, I'm always cautious to share this, but if we're going to bring any value here, it's bringing the future. Like, we're trying to help people understand what is down the road. And I just want to bring this to you. So home insurers cut natural disasters from policies as a climate risk grows. Oh, as soon as you read that headline, first of all, it's shocking. I always read everything so I can make sure that the headline's just not trash, right? But what this article says is 5 of the largest insurance companies in this country are no longer willing to insure they're not going to write new policies. So let me make sure that we're clear on this. They're not going to write any new policies on homes that are in high risk areas. I'm pausing for effect because we all know how insurance works. Right? So
mortgage companies are going to have to follow suit and change policy. This is there's a big ripple effect that's going to happen out of this. So
look at this, right? Allstate, American Family, Nationwide, Erie Insurance Group, and Berkshire Hathaway have told regulators that extreme weather patterns cause climate change, have led them to stop writing coverages in some regions, excluding protections from various weather events, and raised monthly premiums and deductibles. I just want you to understand the last sentence there, last half of it, and raise monthly premiums and deductibles. Do you think that because there are hurricanes in Florida, that is not going to affect what insurance costs in Michigan? Because if an insurance company is not going to write policies in one state and they have shareholders to be held accountable to, to become profitable, where do you think they're going to come get those profits from?
The rest of the United States.
I'm not a smart man, but I have seen this show before, right? All of these companies play Robin Hood, and they've lobbied to do it. So forget about the politics side of it. Let's just be real, right? They're implementing tropical cyclone, wind, hail, fire, and high wind deductions. That's what this article says. And it gets into down even lower, right? So there's no place to hide from these severe natural damages. I want you to be aware of what these are the insurance people saying. There's no place that isn't affected by this. So when we're sitting here in Michigan, we're thinking, oh, that happens in Florida, no big deal. Well, have you seen Vegas flood over the last week? Have you seen California get a hurricane this year and flooding all over the place? Does anybody know Tornado Alley out in the Midwest? Eric, did you not have a tornado touchdown in your backyard 3 weeks ago?
We had tornadoes here in Michigan. Yep. We had live, story from our experience with it is we had a tree fall down and we went to claim it on our insurance because it fell on our driveway. It was blocking us from leaving. Yep. So naturally, check the policy. That's supposed to be covered. Well, I'm on the phone with the insurance company, and this is how much I just despise, these insurance companies, for what they're doing, and there's loopholes for everything. Well, long story short, they will cover the tree, but the amount that they will cover is up to $1,900 is the threshold, which was like my deductible for tree removal, debris haul away, up to $1,900. So I had to pay just over $1,900 to even get a penny from the insurance company.
And then you have a claim, and then they raise your insurance next year.
Exactly. So we opted. I already had the work done. We opted to not file a claim, just pay for it out of pocket and be done with it.
Yep.
Because I don't want my insurance premium to go up, which I knew it would. And the lady on the phone said it. She's like, "Yeah, I wouldn't do it. It's probably going to raise your premium." Oh, really? Your customer service is actually saying what everyone's thinking when it's not supposed to. All right. We all know that's what it's there for. We use our insurance. Why would that go up? We're paying for it every single month.
Yep.
So my blood was boiling that day, like unreal.
You have my blood boiling right now.
This is real life, y'all. We talked about this when we did the auto insurance thing. Like, we got hammered on auto insurance. It doubled. We didn't do anything, but because we have been hit several times, we're the ones that have to pay it still shows up on your insurance, right? It's still a vehicle that they have to insure that's already been damaged. It's just like, man, this stuff's nuts. So let's get into how to solve some of these problems, right? Like, we spent literally 50 minutes identifying problems, but sharing real life. So I think it's great. Eric talked about this is real, y'all. We're all feeling this. This is the point. There are vehicles that you can invest in that can help you with this. All right. And this is not an argument that everybody should buy real estate. Let's just park this right now. Eric, do you believe everyone should own or buy real estate right now?
No. I mean, if it's a fit for your investment strategy, then yes. But not everyone's cut out to be a landlord and wants the issues that come along with it. It sounds great in hindsight, yes, but there's a business to be ran on the other side of it,
or a homeowner for that matter. So we're giving both angles here, right? Like, everyone should not own a home either. Okay, so
some people can't even, do what's necessary to maintain a home. So
that's right. And that's the point I'm bringing up, right? Eric was able to take care of that tree. Some people can't, right? Some people can't take care of, again, the proof is in the pudding. Majority of people are living hand to mouth. There are people who aren't. The point is this isn't an argument because we're real estate agents that everyone should buy a house. Do we believe that everyone should? Listen, if you can, and it fits in your budget, should you own a home? The answer is yes. The people who are wealthy in this country have, majority of them, and you go look at the stats. I can pull this up. I'll pull it up on the next live, right? Majority of them have made their money with real estate. Residential, as a matter of fact. So it's something to be mindful of. You don't know anybody that's owned a home for 10 years that is disappointed in the return that they got when they sold it, or what the value of it is today that they can borrow against. You don't know anyone. You most certainly don't know anyone who's owned a home for 20 years. That most likely has changed their life and potentially their family's future. If you know anyone who's owned a home for 30 years and does not have a mortgage anymore, how different does their life look than the numbers that Eric was running out there? The almost $4,000 a month mortgage payment for the same house, right? There are people in $400,000 and $800,000 and $1 million neighborhoods who don't owe a dime. As a matter of fact, statistics say 40% of them. You don't think that their life is entirely different? Why? Because they invested in real estate, and it was just to put a roof over their head. So I'm sharing this with y'all so you can grab perspective. I'm going to run through these numbers fairly quick tonight. I just want to give you guys perspective. This is this just came out on September 1st. Let me pull the numbers, make sure I got it right. I thought they put the date on there. August 31st. Sorry. This was from August 31st. It's the rolling 4 weeks. So this is a 4-week number coming from Realtor.com. Realtor.com pulls their data from the MLSs, the multiple listing service from the National Association of Realtor. So this is national stuff, but we're going to get into what's happening here in Metro Detroit. I'm going to run you through it because there's something to be note of. The pink line in every one of these charts that I'm about to show you is 2023. So that's where I want you to look when we're looking at these charts to kind of get some perspective. This is active listing count. What is an active listing count? That means the number of homes that are actually available to purchase on the market today in the United States. And as you can see, we are extremely low. As a matter of fact, we're just above COVID, which is the green line. That's 2021. So that would have been August of 2021, which is all heck was breaking loose then, y'all, if you can remember, right? So as you can see, when people are like, there's houses everywhere. No, there are not. It is not normal. This is not a normal number. Normally, somewhere between 5 and 6 million people move every year. This year, there's going to be about 4 million. So I want you to keep your head wrapped around that. Inventory is historically low. All right, that's the first thing. The total listing count. Okay, this is the number of total listings year to date. You can see how low this number is. It's lower than any of the previous 6 years. That's unbelievable. This is going back to normal times. 2017, 18, and 19, most people would consider those normal time periods for purchasing. Those were a fairly balanced market. Okay, we're nowhere near those numbers. Pending listing counts. So this is how many homes are actually under contract. This number is starting to climb, which is actually nice, but it's challenged when you don't have any inventory. This is where these challenges come into play. All right, so we're getting more pending. Pendings are up, so that's something to be aware of, and that makes sense. And let me explain why. Why is this number important? Well, last year in June of 2022, they started raising interest rates extremely aggressively. In September, interest rates went from June to September, they went from 3.25 to 5.5. People were freaking out. They weren't selling houses. They basically shut down. And that's why you're seeing these pending numbers up. August and September and October are going to be better than last year because October of 2022, 2022 had a 7.5% interest rate. That was the highest interest rate it was October 22nd of 2022. And people are used to it now. So keep that in mind. Newly listed homes. This is what I want you guys to see here. The pink line is us. When people are like, there's plenty of houses. No, there are not. There are not enough new listings coming to the market. Look how low this is. Like I said, you're going to see this number start to climb, even though historically speaking, this is the time of year when real estate starts to slow down. This is a natural cycle. Kids go back to school. Parents want to be in houses. People don't like to move during the winter. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. Right? So just sharing this with you. But this is going to trend up because people are used to having 7% interest rates now. I want you to kind of wrap your mind around that. All right. Now, days on market. Did I lose it? Yep. Days on market. So this is how many days a property from the time it's listed to the time it's comes off the market, right? Going pending sale, 46 days on average. And you can see we're in the bottom there. Median listing price. This is worth, you're like, okay, everything's down. Well, we're all down on everything. Yeah, except for the two things that actually matter, which are prices. Right? So here's the median listing price, which is now higher than it was last year. And last year was the all-time highs. June of 2022 was the all-time high of real estate values in the United States. But what you're going to see here over the next couple months is that number is going to get beat in a time when real estate should be going down. Why? Because people are used to 7% interest rates now, and home prices have continued to increase. So the median list price now is $435,000 in the United States. Price reduction shares is starting to climb a little bit, meaning people are starting to slash prices again. But again, that's fairly normal for this time of year. You can see the spike there. And as we come down, I want to start showing you regional, and then we're going to get to Michigan really quick. All right, so here's regional statistics for the largest 50 metros in the entire country. Active listings are down 13.5%. New listing counts are down 10.5%. Median list price is up almost 9% year over year, y'all. That hurts. Median listing price year over year is up 5%. Now, as we go down, this is going to be August for statistics for pre-pandemic. So this is 2017 and 19, the 50 largest. We're down 51%, almost 52% in listings. So think of normal. If you want your life to go back to normal, 2017 and 19 was quote unquote normal. We have almost 52% less homes on the market to purchase now than we did during a normal time period. Man, that is why it hurts so bad right now. New listings are down almost down 26%. The median list price is up 34% from that period. Okay. Now, as we track down, it shows the actual metros. I put the link for this in the chat for those of you guys who want to look at this. But here we are: Detroit, Warren, Dearborn, Michigan. So this is our metro area. The median sales price over the last 4 weeks has been 270. Median list. Make sure I got it. I'm sorry. Median listing price has been $272,000. Eric, your number was 242 on the actual sales. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, like 233.
So, and we said that list pricings are up. All right. So keep that in perspective. On here, it's showing it's flat though. So again, we'll work some numbers. Eric's actually got cleaner data than Realtor and Redfin, but this is a good place to look. Okay. So I just want you to see these numbers across the board. These things make sense. Looking at the top, price reduction share, active list count, median list prices. So that's where we wanted to focus on. It's saying that median list price in the Metro Detroit area is actually flat, but go ahead.
The one thing to note on the price reductions, which is really interesting, because there's another stat, which is, how many homes are selling above list price.
Yes.
So when you look at those two comparatively, say, okay, I think the percentage of homes that are selling above list here in the Metro Detroit area, last time I looked, was somewhere like 53 to 60%, if my numbers are correct. So it's almost, it's quite a bit of homes. Like 50% of the homes that are selling are going above.
Yep.
So the other 50%, are going below. Those are the ones that are probably looking at the price reductions, right? So those homes are selling quickly. Then you have the homes that, we have agents out there that are pricing homes like it's 2020, like, oh, it's going to go way up. Right. But then you also have the other strategy. I just saw a listing that easily could have been listed at 260. They listed at 225 to create a bidding war. All right. So there's strategies out there that are happening. And, most people don't understand those type of things that are going on, but it creates a big question mark, for people buying homes. Like, well, what should the home be listed at? Like, what should the price be? Because that's ultimately what people judge their offer off of.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If they're going 10, 15% over, you got to start somewhere. And if you're a listing agent out there and you're watching this and you're pricing the home, 10 to 15% under the market value just to create, a little buzz around it, shame on you.
Yep.
Right. Like that's crazy talk. Got to give everyone a fair shot, at getting the house. But back to my point on the price reductions, these are now the homes that need TLC. Okay. So you see a lot of buyers out there that are looking at these payments saying, hey, if I'm going to pay, top dollar for this house and my interest rate's where it's at, I want to move right in. I don't have the disposable income to go fix bathrooms and remodel, kitchens and, do all the repairs that the seller neglected to do over the past 10 years living there. And I'm going to inherit that and pay top dollar for it. No, thank you, Mr. Seller. Right. So now you're starting to see the price reductions because they need to offload it. Right. They likely need, it's probably distressed, right? Probably some of that's, in assisted living, or the family's taking over the estate and they just want to get rid of it. Right. So you start seeing these type of things. So those are the two polar opposites of the market, right? When somebody says there's no deals out there, well, yes, there is. We're seeing it every day.
Yep.
And on the other hand, says, well, the market's crazy and people are buying houses for $20,000-$30,000 over and appraisal guarantees. Yeah, that's happening as well. Those are the turnkey move-in ready homes in the highly desirable areas and school districts that everyone wants to be.
Yep. So on that point, Eric, you nailed it. So let's talk about how to get some cash real quick, and we'll close this thing out. I just want to make this quick point. The 52-week high in mortgage percentage was 7.49 on a 30-year fixed. We closed out today at 7.33 on a 30-year fixed. That's the bottom right down there. Okay, so to give you perspective, people are now getting used to this. If you go back and look at last year, but Eric, you said one thing there that I want to just close out on. The houses, and y'all, this is where you just need to wrap your mind around. The best houses in the best neighborhood that are in the best condition will always sell in any market. In any market, especially starter homes. So I'm sharing this with anybody who's within earshot, who's considering investing in Metro Detroit. It's one of the very few places. There are 3 cities in this country where you can rent for less than you can purchase. Detroit is one of them. Now, that's not entire Metro. That is Detroit proper. Okay, I'm sharing that with you. It is a great investment opportunity in Metro Detroit. It is still very affordably nationally. People moving here from California, and they do. Eric just moved a client here from California. This is a very normal call for us to take clients to move them here, right? I'm sharing this with y'all because if you invest in starter homes, and this is where I want to help people understand, for anybody considering investing, invest in starter homes. No builders are going to get off their trucks and make 1,100 square foot homes anymore. They're not going to do that. Until the government comes in and says, we will pay you, we'll subsidize this activity, they are not going to do that because it costs them time and money to not build a 2,200 to 2,600 square foot new McMansion, quote unquote. That is the new starter home. So those 1,100 square foot bungalows and ranches that are in areas like Allen Park and Lincoln Park and Taylor and Garden City and those places, those homes are going to become more and more valuable over time because those are listen, Eric showed you the averages. Somebody has to live in those homes. So if you're considering investing investing in yourself, buy a home in some of those areas. Because guess what? In 10 years, guess what? Well, guess what's going to happen to that house? It'll be an extremely valuable asset because they're not making any more. It is finite.
Yeah. There's a real estate investor that I follow, big influencer. Love him. His name's Chris Crone. Anybody looking, just go look him up on YouTube. You can find any of his videos. And he's always said over the years, look, my investment strategy is simple. I look for the areas that are below the national average for single family homes.
Yep.
All right. And I invest heavily in those areas because when things take a dip, right, if something happens in the real estate market, and it will, right, it's just a matter of time, right? Something will happen. Could be the complete opposite of what we're thinking. It couldn't even might not even be a crash. It might be a surplus, right? The rates might drop and people might come rushing back in. But anyways, something will happen. And even if the prices do drop, the homes that are going to be impacted the most are going to be the homes that are above the median, right? You look at like a $600,000-$700,000 house. Those are the ones that are going to be impacted the most.
Yep.
You can't take a $233,000 house and drop the price by $50,000 to $60,000 and say, well, it dropped by that much for the $600,000 home. It's not the same. right? Because those houses that are $233,000 are in such high demand because of the price point, and so many people are in that price point. The affordability, it just doesn't make sense, right? So the logic is there that states if you're shopping below the median, that's a really safe bet. The median's getting higher and higher every single month, right? But if you can stick with that, those are always going to be safe bets in areas that you're investing in.
Yep.
All right. So just a little bit of a tip there. If you are thinking about investing, it's a great strategy.
Yep. It's an easy way in. People will always want and need what you have. That is why I love that mindset and that motto, approaching it that way. It's a different approach, right? Even in a tough market, you'll be able to rent that property. In a great market, you'll be able to rent that property. In an excellent market, you can sell it and scale it, right? Move it into another asset, do 1031. There's so many different options you can do with something like this. So that is, I realize we're having different conversations right now, but if you are renting, you can still purchase one of these homes, right? And you can start investing in yourself. You Inc. Right? I love, Alex says it all the time. He says, stop investing in the S&P and start investing in the S and me. We talked about skills earlier, right? Right? Like, this is a skill. Buying a home, you get to write. Listen, I know people are like, what's more expensive? Guess what? You get to write off a portion of that interest that you pay into that property every year.
Yep.
I remember when I bought my first home in 2004, going back the good old days, I walked to school both ways with no shoes in the snow, just so everybody knows. But regardless of that, in 2004, when I bought my house, my mortgage payment was, my interest rate was 10.25%. Now the house is 130 grand, entirely different market, right? But I got to write off that interest every year. I got that money back. There's a difference, y'all.
Yeah, and if you're young, like, start house hacking. Like, there is a huge strategy out there. You know, if you're looking at house hacking, buy the house and invite some friends to come live with you. You're gonna get that mortgage paid for so quick, because trust me, they can't go find a room, or an apartment for what you're going to be charging them. And that's going to cover 3/4, if not all, of your mortgage. And they're going to be living with people that they actually like.
Yep. Take that first year of rent that you get from those guys and pay forward on your mortgage. That way you are protected if you lose your job or anything gets squirrely. Yep. After that, if you still have roommates, now start paying down the interest ahead of time.
Yeah, that's one of like 15 different strategies.
So many.
Right? That's just on a single family. If you're also looking at buying a multifamily, right, you can buy a 4-unit with an FHA loan, right, and it's going to be 3.5% down, and you might even be able to get the seller to finance all of your down payment for you.
If you
got to bring some money to the table, but absolutely insane.
Or a VA, you can do up to 5 units. One of them has to be commercial, but you can actually do that.
Look at that. Another one moving from California to Michigan.
There you go, y'all. There you go.
San Pedro.
I know we went long, dude. Pedro. San Pedro. Yeah. Listen, I know we went long. I know we went deep on stuff that people don't want to touch. Right. But like, this is real life. We're living this stuff right now in real time with you guys. Like I shared last week. I will show my whole entire mortgage statement, everything on here, so you guys can wrap your mind around it. It's like the gain perspective. But why am I doing this? Okay. I want to close this out today by saying why, because here's what I know. I have been in this business since 2012. I came in when people were turning their houses in. They were literally handing the bank keys because the banks were giving loans to people that weren't qualified. In this market today, that does not happen. You cannot get a mortgage if you do not qualify. I need you to understand that. That's one of the reasons why these markets are entirely different. Number two, people are not losing their jobs. That is the event right now that needs to happen in order for housing to shift, because there just isn't enough inventory. There has to be more supply than there is demand. Demand is definitely stifled, but so is supply, because people have 2.75% interest rates. So they're not moving, right? Wrap your mind around that. But here's why I was saying all this. My son is 10 years old. The median first-time home buyer, the average first-time home buyer in the United States is now 34 years of age. So if my son is average, and I pray that he is not, but statistics say that he's going to be average, right? If he is average, that means it's going to be 24 more years from now when he buys his first home. How much has real estate increased, Eric, in the last 24 years in Metro Detroit, as an example?
Usually good at guessing.
You are good at guessing.
So
don't you ask me to guess anything against this man, but go ahead.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's logic. I use logic in it. It's not just random. It's got to be close to 300%.
Somewhere around there, right? Depending on where you purchase, somewhere between 200 and 300% increase.
Yeah.
So
I do know the stat from the 50s to today, 1,200%.
1,200%.
1,209% to be exact.
Yep. So in 24 years, I have to ask myself objectively, is my son and my two daughters, are they going to be in a financial position to buy something that is most likely going to be out of reach? Most likely not, right? So now who the Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for the family in front of him and the family behind him. All right. So by me buying this home, it gives me an opportunity to build equity, to leverage that into other assets in the future. I also get to write off the crazy nuts 7% interest rate, right? And if this is a giant if, I'm not a speculator here, if interest rates shift downwards, which I do believe they will, but I can't, there's no guarantee, right? If they shift, I'll refinance, I'll lower my payment, right? But I'm here to tell you, if real estate increases another 200%, let's be real. We just said our wages are stuck in 2019 levels, which already sucked. Do I think that my kids, if they go the traditional route, are going to be making the kind of money it's going to take to buy a $1.5 million starter home in Metro Detroit? The answer is no. Not a chance.
Can you imagine if the 3 bedrooms in Lincoln Park is going to cost $800K to $1 million in the next 24 years,
bro?
Oh man,
bro.
It's all relative, you know. But we're in this phase right now where it doesn't feel like there's any end in sight, you know, to what's happening. And you know, again, people are still out there. People are making money, right? The other big thing, and we've gone way long, but thank you for all of you who are still here with us. We have more viewers, you know, in the last 15 minutes. It's been absolutely awesome. But you know, here's the reality. Like, you know, there's going to be, we're living this right now, right? And it seems like there's no end in sight, but we're going to see some hyperinflation. You know, something's going to shake loose. Something's going to happen that's going to cause the balance to come back.
Yeah.
But there's probably going to be some negative out of that, right? We can't go through a rebuild without tearing something down. All right. So just be prepared for that. And, you know, there's the economic factors that are changing. You know, housing is just one of these things. You know, we talk about that. I'm personally, you know, preparing my family for different investment strategies outside of real estate. All right. You know, looking at different vehicles to put money into. And those things are real. Like, I would encourage everybody to start looking at these different vehicles, but really get a handle on what's happening from a global perspective, because things are about to change. All right. We're just in this like eye before the storm. All right. Most people who have their head down are working. The other thing that, you know, most families and individuals, you know, don't realize is that we have a lot of families with dual incomes now, right? These national averages, even though they're supposed to be true data, I'm seeing a lot more people making double, triple, you know, what the national average is. And that's because of 2 household incomes, right? That are both 6 figures and above, you know. So understand a lot of people are struggling out there, but there's still a lot of people that, like, it doesn't faze me one bit, you know. yeah, it sucks that we're paying more for insurance and more for this, but hasn't phased me one bit. And those are the people that are looking at different investment strategies as well. And this time period is going to make a lot of millionaires. And I know I'm probably talking about things that you fully don't understand just yet. I'm not giving you actual information on what those are, but just know that we're about to see some things in the economy that we're in election year, for God's sakes. Like, things are about to get ugly, for many Americans. So
Sorry.
yeah, politics and all that good stuff. Sophia's laughing because she loves the politics talk.
No, I'm laughing because I'm like, that's I'm gonna shut up. Nope, go ahead.
Well, good. We are 16 minutes over the hour. You guys, thanks for tuning in. Why don't you shut us down?
Well, thanks for joining us. If you got any value out of today, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that like button. And if you know anybody who's considering making a move to the area, please feel free to share this with them. Also, all of our contact information is listed down below. There's even a link to Eric's calendar where you can jump in time, have a conversation with him. If you're considering relocating, buying, or investing here in the Metro Detroit area, just know that we've got your back. Sophia would love to help you on that journey as well. We are here to serve, right? Now may not be the best time for you. We are open to that conversation. Trust me. Our goal is not to put a square peg in a round hole. Our goal is to be guides. If we do it well, we get to lay our head in a pillow every night knowing that we served people and we did our best work, and that's what we're here to do. So we'd be grateful for the opportunity. Do not hesitate to reach out. If you have any deeper questions about this, please feel free to put that in the comments below. Also, we put links in here to some of the things we've shown tonight. We always do that. We put links and resources as well. We've got plenty of videos that you can go back and watch if you're looking about a specific area. Do not hesitate to reach out about those areas either. We'd love to make videos for you in the future as well. And until next time, I hope you all have a great evening. I'm going to kick this over to Eric. Eric, any final words?
No, we just appreciate you guys tuning in. There's a lot of things happening here in Metro Detroit, a lot of new developments, a lot of, new cities not new cities, but new developments in cities that, a lot of people are gravitating towards. So, Detroit is one of those. It's got a lot of regrowth and rebuilding and just a resurgence coming through the city. So a lot of excitement there, a lot of things that, we'd love to share with you if you are considering, moving to Detroit or Metro Detroit. There's so many different lifestyles. So, definitely reach out. All the contact information's in the description below, and we look forward to speaking with you.
Sophia, any final words?
No, not really. I hope everyone enjoyed the holiday weekend, and thank you for joining us tonight.
And with that, I would like to say thank you for your time and attention. Thank you for trusting in us. We appreciate y'all. And until next time, go out and have a great evening. God bless y'all.